Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Mr. and Lady viewing at home, thank you so much for tuning into Kinetic Aesthetic. It is Tuesday, so you already know what it is. It's another edition of Sports Talk right at you. We're coming at y'all with another round of sports talk, and that means NBA playoff basketball. But because a certain NFL quarterback decided to make it all political and shit, we have to talk about that too. So we're going to waste no time, but I have something special for y'all. I have a guest. I have my friend Cam, somebody that I have known out here in Seattle. He is a real one from the same city that I am, the Windy City, and he loves to talk about sports. So he's going to be joining me, so I'm not over here just yapping to y'all in an empty vacuum. Cam, say something.
How we doing, everybody? Shout out to the 773. Shout out to the 312. Shout out to all those other area codes that are technically Chicago, but ain't really Chicago. But we ain't gonna get into that. Hope everybody's doing well, enjoying all this weather. If you have a good weather, and hope everybody's family is good. Family support.
All righty. So y'all already know what it is. We are going to get right into it. So y'all already know what it is. Prop your feet up, I should say. Go grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a drink. Get comfortable because sports talk is about to get right unleashed right now. All right. So, first thing that we need to talk about this Thunder and OKC, this Thunder and this San Antonio Spurs series. This shit is it's got my brain jumbled. I don't even know where to begin. They've traded haymakers. Like the first two games where it feels like they were super close, Cam, and now they're just at a point where it's just both
It's a
teams.
it's a full out rumble in the jungle. Like it is what we all wanted and expected from this series if it were to happen in the playoffs, and it really is even better than expectations, at least to my expectations. Like I didn't expect the different storylines of the refereeing, which is always going to be a thing in the playoffs, regardless of what year it is,
It
or
it's
the different
always
role
going to be
players.
whoever is the dominant team, especially with like an MVP style player. They're going to always have people being like, "Oh my goodness, he gets the whistle." It's not happening for Wemby now, but just wait for a couple until like maybe 2 years down the line where people are going to be like, "You can't do anything."
And it's been like, and people like, oh, this is so much different. I'm like, go back and watch Magic and Bird. Go back and watch Isaiah and Magic or Isaiah and Jordan. Go back and watch Jordan and Hakeem. Go back and watch Penny and Shaq. Like we have this referee foul banning argument every single time that a character, and I say that with like all intents and purposes that you think of it as, comes onto the stage in the way that SGA does, in the way that Kobe does, in the way that D Wade does, LeBron, Zeke, like Jordan. Like there's
Don't matter.
always that. There's a superstar whistle and there's an everybody else whistle. We've known this forever. It's always been that way. Kobe, even in his book, said, "Oh, I would read the rule book to see which spots the refs stand at to make sure I can get away with certain fouls or get certain fouls called." Right? That's a
And
part of the
right now,
game.
SGA has that whistle because that little clip of him going for the jump shot and De'Aaron Fox getting called for that foul, that's egregious. That's ridiculous.
De'Aaron Fox hit him with the Olay, and he was like, "Oh, but your shin caught him on the toe." I'm like, "That's crazy."
But
And then the rest of it is incidental. Like we see people getting like on both sides, Spurs players, OKC players are barreling through folks but over the backs, and it's just incidental contact. I'm like, okay, this is where we need to have some consistency here. Like meet us in the middle somewhere. Somewhere. I don't care where, but like you can't have pinky toe getting clipped foul and then everybody else can just do whatever.
it's ridiculous, but I think that at the end of the day, San Antonio has proven that they can play above it more than anything else. Because what surprised me is they're still the youngest team in the league, and they're playing like this veteran seasoned team. I don't know what they doing coaching wise or in the water to just like. I hate to. I'm actually not going to make the comparison. I was going to compare them to the way Green Bay likes to like just shuffle through quarterbacks and just somehow make it seamless. San Antonio they shuffle through big men and they are just shuffling through coaches. Because Pop, he got old, his health was declining. They rightfully allowed him to rest everything, but they got the right guy in there because he's saying something. You already saw the clip of him with
Yeah.
rookie. Like
I
it's
The
all
answer I think is a
football
buzzword.
is what I'm trying to say.
The answer I think is a buzzword that gets thrown around way too often, but in this case, it's accurate. Culture, right? Like you build it in as like we draft certain guys, we look at certain like intangible things on the stat sheet. We look at tangibles too. At a certain point, we're taking the best athlete available when it comes to drafting. But there's like certain you get on people and like, this is our vision. This is the kind of person and team we want to make. This is kind of the style we want to have. We need people that are mentally and physically and from a character standpoint fit into the fabric of that culture. And that's what like Pop coached for 2 plus decades across different eras, the 7 seconds or less era, the kind of the rolling down kind of Pistons defense era, the
And
three-point
he
shooting
won.
era. He has over 1,400 wins, right? Which is I think is top 5 NBA all time. It might be top 3. It might be him, Red Auerbach, and my God, I can't think of this man's name. He's the president of basketball operations for the Miami Heat. Oh my, I can see his face.
Pat Riley.
Pat Riley. Yes, I think it's those 3 or 4 in the top 4 or 5 of NBA wins from a coach all time. And there's a reason for that, right? He has like from like the Boris Diaw picks, which are like deep, deep, deep in the bag from a drafting or scouting standpoint, to things like getting Keldon Johnson and making him a 6 man of the year, even though right now he's kind of struggling a little bit, right? There's certain culture things that let you know, and I'm gonna say this is a bit of a bias, but like Baltimore, I feel like Baltimore Ravens are the same way. Like in those '90s and 2000s, right? You certain people like, oh, he plays like a Raven. Like that's a catchphrase, that's a slogan. But there's some people like, oh, he has that certain personality
The
character
swagger suit.
mix, right? That's like there's certain guys that are like, oh, he's a Nick. Like we could see it, right? When in high school, college, like okay, he would fit very well on this squad based on who he is, what his game is, and kind of his character and personality. There are certain things that are just fits. And I think the Spurs are really good at really finding the intersection between fantastic player and a culture fit.
Right.
They do that with coaches, they do that with assistants. I think it's like, oh man, is it Steve Sweeney? He's their defensive, he's one of their assistants. I need to make sure I get this man's name right. He's probably gonna if they let him go, he's not going to. They're not gonna let him go, but he's gonna get a front office or he's gonna get a head coaching
They're
offer
about to get
this
rated no
year.
matter what. Like people are gonna be trying to pick like, especially now that they've proven that they have rebuilt it, and like especially as well as this is gonna be, they're gonna be that coaching staff is gonna get there's gonna be some new head coaches, there's gonna be some new front office people.
I mean, but also it's one of those things like just like with the Warriors, usually like if you go there and you fit there, you usually don't leave. Like Mitch Johnson was an assistant for like a decade, if I remember correctly, before. So, but you, yeah, this first team, they're 22 years old. They're barely old enough to drink an American. Dylan Harper is not old enough
Let
to
me
drink
ask
an
you this.
American.
Let me ask you this. My big thing is, yes, they are that young. Yes, they have that like energy and youthfulness. Do you think they are going to be able to outlast this OKC team at the end of the day? Because right now, I know we are coming off the heels of this game 4 where it was very dominant. They look like they can really get stuff done. And to be honest, they just look like they outmatched them in terms of talent, in terms of
So
overall top end talent right now. They have SGA and Wimby almost even each other out. And I top end, like not including the bench, I like the Spurs starting 5 over OKC starting 5. But do you think they can outlast that bench? Because game 3 already was what went over in OKC's favor because that bench was able to
that
catch.
bench, that bench record. So can they? Yes. Will they? Different story. And that's if.
Because I think it's going 7. I'm gonna say it's going 7, but
Oh,
I don't.
I have never been in my life more confident of a series going 7. I thought that the 2011 Mavericks Heat series was going to go 7, and it almost did, but it did. This one, I feel more confident is going 7 because you have this pendulum, right? In games 1 through 3, Alex Caruso has been absolutely lighting it up.
He
From
was doing all he could. He was doing
he
all he could.
he was literally doing things outside of his body from a shooting standpoint. I think For games 2 and 3, he was shooting like 52% from 3,
Game 1
which
was
he
the game I'm still again, he had the better performance, better than anybody else on that court on game 1. That
I
was
think he had like 32, 7, 8, and 3 steals. Like, it was
you can't
ridiculous.
underestimate the defensive, presence he had out there. Like, it was
That definition of veteran savvy. Like, he just knows. He just has a feel for it that he doesn't have to think about. That is just very.
and I also think J-Dub really did his best as much as he could at game 1. I was impressed with him already knowing he had the hamstring, and him being out now is the really
You
when
know, they said he's gonna try to come back and be available for
I know
game
he is, but
5.
that's what scares me because listen, the number one thing, and we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. I don't want to like go too crazy right now with saying this. The only thing that's going to hurt them going, whoever wins this going into that next series, are you going to be so banged up that this team that's on the other side that is going to be waiting, rested with all this energy, with the like, nobody is still going to be believing in them. So they're going to still have that underdog mentality against you no matter what. Are you going to be able to answer that call? Because J-Dub is going to be pushing himself to get back out there. Why can't, okay, this is also crazy. Why can't Chet really just perform a little better?
That is a question everyone in America who watches basketball has been asking themselves for the past weekend. The thing,
Because
like, it's
J-Dub,
something.
they need J-Dub. J-Dub out there, he showed what he can do, especially when Shea is having a very slow night to start off on game 1. They needed him to do everything he did out there. They needed him up until he was clutching that damn hamstring. So
I I don't know.
I
Like,
don't know
I
what they
watch.
do because that's a big loss, especially if Chet is not going to assert himself. And I know everybody's already given him the business, but like he's been deserving it. It's like
He's a like he's a all NBA player, right? He got voted to an All NBA team this year, and I think got voted to one last year. He was in Defensive Player of the Year votes, right? Not in first place votes this year, but he has gotten first place votes in the previous years, right? I He got paid a lot of money. I don't know why. Like, he cannot. But something that I actually think needs to be really brought up is that, like, he hasn't scored 30 in his playoffs yet. His highest is 24, and did 24 twice against the Lakers and against Phoenix. I think he's not accustomed to in a playoff setting because he didn't do a lot in the playoffs last year because their road was their road, but, like,
they
he
were just that dominant that they did not need
yeah,
him to do
didn't
anything.
really need him. SGA and JW just kinda took it and ran with it, which, hey, he was still protecting the rim, he's still playing great defense, but from a scoring standpoint, I think Mike Dagnall is gonna have to get him some easy buckets, but the problem is, and I think this goes to how I think you might have Chet might have to come off the bench. You might have to have Holmgren, or you might have to have Hartenstein start, and then have to get Holmgren going in that first quarter, put him in the non-Wemby minutes, and then work him deeper into the game as Wemby starts coming back onto the floor. Because obviously, this trying to guard Wemby on the offensive and defensive, be
They didn't
matched up
even
with him
try
on
to
both
have him do that
sides.
in game 1 from what I remember, that
Yeah,
much.
they still lost. So obviously, like, this is like they've been giving him different looks, trying to, all right, make sure he's touched one way or the other every time it gets into the paint, right? Elbows and chest, right? But clearly, and I'm a preface this, I've not played basketball at a high level. I didn't play in college, not a pro, obviously, didn't play in high school, right? So, like, but I say this to say, like, it seems like something about Wembanyama is throwing Chet off of his game in a way that he is not producing offensively the way that we know he can. Like, in this playoffs, he's
People are saying it's because he's
averaging.
afraid. I've seen that, and I don't wanna call it like the whole, like, you're
I don't
like,
think he's afraid. I think he's just uncertain, and I think those are 2 different things.
feel like he's of but what's crazy is that you can understand the uncertainty from players that are like half of Wemby's height or literally are looking up just to see where his hands are at. But for Chet, and even I have this thought, admittedly. Why can you not at least try to use that length that you are like you are 7 foot tall. That's what people think of you as. Yeah, we know Wemby's like taller than that. We can clearly see that, but still, bruh, you have to be able to at least sort of assert yourself.
I I think this is a OKC regular season problem, and let me tell you why. Because OKC is so deep and they have a pure, unadulterated superstar in SGA and a fantastic number 2, I wouldn't even call him a Robin, he's more of a 1B in J-Dub. They didn't build Chet into the offense enough. They just said like, "Oh, Chet can just kinda get whatever. He can just kinda do his own thing. He can be a part of the offense. We run a set or 2 for him here and there." He's not really in rhythm from an offensive standpoint. Give it because if you think about it, they don't run a lot of they run more lobs for Isaiah Hartenstein than they do for Chet. They'll run a 5-out side screen off Chet on the wings to get him a 3, but they haven't posted him up really. They really just want him to rebound and get points off of rebounds. They haven't really set him up offensively to be in rhythm like they do all the guards like McCain, like SGA, like AJ Williams before he got hurt, right? Like they set those guys up with screens, actions, back cuts.
You
Chad is
know,
just kind of out there.
and you know what I think it is also? It's because of the way they use him, um, people hold him to this standard because he was that second overall pick. I forgot that. He was like I think they got him in the same pick they got Jada up. So they got their number 2, but they just probably didn't get the number 2 pick with the pick they thought they were gonna like if they could go back and do it over, Jada up is probably gonna go number 2 overall, if not number 1. I don't know who else went over in that draft.
What draft was that? 3 years ago? Let me look this up. This is what the internet is for, ladies and gentlemen.
Because if you have Jada as your number 2, what does that leave Chet? You almost leave him in that Chris Bosh scenario, in that role where you could be a superstar. You can give him to somebody else and he would be able to become what everybody thinks he should be, but that's just not the role that he's expected to play. Because I'm thinking about it right now. I didn't I keep forgetting that J-Dub is the number 2. Like he's been
Mhm,
injured, and I think about Chet out there. He's the guy that everybody's comparing to Wemby right now. He's not their number 2 when everybody's healthy. That is J-Dub.
mhm, and he's
So
never really been their number 2 either, like, he's just kinda been one of those pieces that like, "Oh, if once Chet gets going or what once Chet gets unlocked," I'm like, "But that doesn't seem to be the offense they wanna run."
but with that being said, if you are the number 3 option, I understand that you're not used to it. Number 1, you at least have to step up offensively now, and number 2, even if you are not gonna do that, you still are that damn tall. Get into him defensively. That
See,
shouldn't have to be
he
hard.
has though, that's the thing, he has, and he's been getting dunked on. Like, it's which isn't his fault, like, but that's also the thing, like,
That's gonna
I
happen to
don't
anybody
think
though.
that I said that derogatorily. Well, if you playing defense well, you're gonna get dunked on, it's gonna happen. All the best defenders you can ever think of have gotten posterized and dunked on. It's going to happen. Now, moving on from that, Chet's been getting dog walked in some cases. Like, I think the worry is Chet is trying to defend without fouling because they know if he gets in foul trouble, Hardenstein changes how they have to guard Wemby and how Wemby guards them defensively and offensively. And so he wants to keep that versatility in the lineup. But Chet, my brother in Christ, you got 6 of them things. You got to use at least 4 of them. And he has, but they've been like ticky tack. Like they haven't been like truly making sure that Wemby feels him in the paint or like blocking or keeping certain things just like from happening. And sometimes he's not on the floor when those things happen, which is kind of a timing thing. But like in the regular season, he averaged 17 and 8. Okay. In the playoffs, he's averaging 16 and 8, allegedly. However, in the past 4 games, he scored 10, 14, 13, and 8. So he's below average, floating around there in some games, but he's had over 8 rebounds twice. He's had 8 rebounds and 9 rebounds 2 out of the 4 games. He's only had 3 blocks all series. He's averaging, let's see, 50 divided by 4, around 4.8 field goals made a game, and he's not taking a lot of shots either.
He's gonna
I
need to
think
step up. He's gonna need
he's
to, especially if J-Dub's like, if J-Dub is not gonna come back, and they probably should just allow him to get as much rest as possible.
they need to rest him, like, because if they get past he could come back in a
They
few
are
weeks.
already gonna be going into that series tired and needing rest. They're gonna need a healthy J-Dub if they don't want that, because the Knicks are, I'm sorry, I'm at the point now where this is looking like destiny damn near. So,
Yeah, I don't know if it's destiny, but, like, this is their best shot since I think, like, 90 what was that,
they've been this since 96
99?
years. Yes,
Yeah, it's been,
70.
like, 99-ish, right? And
So
shoot, maybe their best shot to win a championship since Willis Reed, like,
this
because
is very important. So they're going to need to play things correctly from this point on. Even if the Spurs get through, which they're going to be tired as hell. I don't care what anybody says if they manage to get past this OKC team. It's going to be a slugfest from here. Like I said, it's going to Game 7. Who has home field advantage if this goes to game when this goes to Game 7? OKC, right?
OKC does, yep. So it goes OKC, then
I ain't
the
listen.
Spurs' best chance is to win this in 6. If this goes 7, I too many things can happen.
Wimby has left me with no reason to think he can't pull another rabbit out of his head. He's thirsting for a Game 7. I'll put it to you that way. He wants to end it.
He wants it. He wants it bad. But this is one of the times you're like, no, we have to end this in 6. We can't let this go 7. One, we need some sort of rest. We can't because like if I remember correctly, the schedule is like game 1 of the finals will be like 2 or 3 days after game 7. Like you can't. You gotta give yourself more time
I'm really might
than
be
that.
leaning towards the Knicks. I'm spoiling this next one, but I'm probably leaning towards them because this is going to be a slugfest. I don't see this just becoming. This is not going to turn into the Spurs getting being dominant for 3 games straight, or the fucking or the OKC just being dominant for 2 games straight. Neither team has shown that they're going to allow themselves to die like that. So
But thing is, it's gonna have to happen. Want to know why? The Spurs, two separate but interconnected facts here. The Spurs have not lost 3 games in a row all year. The only time the Thunder have lost 3 games in a row were to the Spurs. So one of those things are going to have to change if either of these teams are going to get out of here with any sort of semblance of health and rest. Like
okay, so I'm done making a prediction on this. This is just good basketball, and I'm happy to be enjoying it.
we just gotta appreciate it. We just have to appreciate this because this was the first year the Workers Conference Finals was tied up at 1-1 in like 7 years.
What?
Uh huh. I saw that stat the other day and that blew my mind. I'm like, and then I looked back
Damn.
historically, and let's see, yeah, because last year the Thunder like gentlemen swept the Timberwolves. That was 4-1. Then the Mavericks gentlemen swept the Timberwolves. That was 4-1. The Nuggets swept the Lakers. That was 4-0. And then you had the 2022 Warriors, like also against the Timberwolves, maybe. Like, let me double check.
Damn, Anthony. Damn, Ant. Why the
So, but
give me
also this is
more
one of those
give me more of
things.
his lumps. He gonna be a problem. Is we gonna be a problem if they get him a running mate?
I think who should trade for Julius Randle? Who should it be? Who should it be?
No.
Because it seems like you trade Julius Randle and you automatically end up going to the playoffs a whole lot. Look at the Knicks. Look at the Lakers. Both of whom have made Western Conference and Eastern Conference Finals post him being
This
there.
nigga is the
Granted,
link. He is the weak.
granted, Julius Randle, the Timberwolves have made it to the Western Conference Finals with him being there. So, like, it's not a complete, like, monkey's paw sort of a situation, but I don't think he's the right fit. I felt this way when when, like, Utah got, like, Gobert and well, no, when Minnesota got Gobert and Cat, I'm like, "This doesn't feel like this fits for what you all would like to do." Okay, yeah, so Dallas, Denver, Golden State beat Dallas 4-1. The Suns beat the Clippers 4-2. Lakers beat the Nuggets 4-1. Warriors beat the Trailblazers 4-0. Warriors 4-3 to the Rockets. Warriors 4-0 to the Spurs. Warriors 4-3 to the Thunder. Yeah, it's supposed to be maybe about 10 years since a series West Conference Finals was tied 1-1 until this year.
Hey, this is it feels like well, for all intents and purposes, this was the two best teams probably in the league. I'm sorry to the Eastern Conference winner, but this feels like the two best teams just duking it out, and it feels like this could potentially be how it goes for a while. So,
But yeah,
yeah, I'm just enjoying it.
this this is our Brady Manning. This is really we may not get this matchup every year, but whenever we get it or we're thinking it could happen, we know something magical is going to happen. We're going to see some fantastic basketball. Everyone's going to be talking about it, and it's going to be legacy defining. Because like no matter who loses or who wins, how you played in the series matters almost just as much as the result.
Facts.
Because it's one of like because it's so equal. They're like it's a wash. So how you play genuinely does matter here. You can't go like 2 for 12 and your team win by 20, or your team win
Was
and
gonna be
we're not
getting a lot
critiquing
of
that.
flack because like those 20 turnovers might have been what prevented this series from being like a very like maybe strong-sided Spurs win.
Those turnovers were huge, huge. And people were saying like, "Oh, De'Aaron Fox's injury is stopping Dylan Harper from going to start a role." I'm like, they play different roles. First of all, like, yes, they're both point guards, maybe technically, but like they play very different roles in this offense. And like Dylan Harper could get there if he wants to, but he's not the same conductor of that offense as De'Aaron Fox or Stephon Castle.
Facts. All right. But all right, moving on. It's time that we talk about this other game that is technically being happening as we were recording this, but for all intents and purposes, this shit is over. I'm gonna look at the
It's
score.
time to go home, people. To quote
It's
Kenny
time to
Smith,
go
it's time
home.
to. Oh,
Unfortunately,
the
Cleveland is
final
not.
score. The final score has been had 130 to 93.
City of Cleveland, F in the chat. Joey, I know you out there. I hope you see this, and I hope you really.
Oh man,
It's gonna
Joey,
mean
I feel
something.
sad for Joey.
I'm so sorry because like this,
This is a safe space, Cavs fans. Y'all got far. I love that for y'all, but
y'all got further than I thought y'all was gonna get. I thought the collapse was gonna happen again in that Detroit series,
hey,
and it
y'all rallied back. Y'all really did. But that might have taken all the juice that they had.
that really might have because
Like,
this was 4 games of belt to ass. Starting with that game 1, which was a
that
great game, which was a great game, and it felt like it felt like that was gonna be a competitive series, potentially. You like the game 1, even if it would have been like the Knicks coming back and making it close, if they would have been able to pull it out, you would feel like, "Okay, they at least got one and they neutralized that home court." But the way they lost, that shot that they kept showing that I kept seeing as I was going home of just Donovan Mitchell just walking back sad in that fucking locker room and Evan Mobley and James Harden behind him. It sort of was just like, yeah, no, they are done. And
if
it's been like that ever since.
if they won game one, this series probably goes six. Because
I
I think
agree.
they
I
just have so
completely
much more mental. They don't have as much mental weight to like, oh, we just gave up a 22-point lead in the fourth quarter in the Garden. And I remember
they
we
gave the
were
city of New York a legendary moment forever.
they better be so happy Reggie Miller wasn't calling that game. They better be overjoyed that Reggie Miller wasn't calling that game.
That it's just I don't know because the crazy thing about it is I pretty much figured this is exactly where Cleveland would end up. I figured it would be sort of a collapse because you got a James Harden on your team, so it would somehow end up like this in a heartbreaking or crushing way. But it felt like this was a prolonged, just crushing, ass whipping. And
I'm
like
gonna shout out to Donovan Mitchell though. He scored 31 off 50% shooting from the field. His team did not help him though. Only two other people were in double figures.
that, I'm sorry, that feels so hollow.
It is, but you still gotta put the ball in the basket. Like he for all the things you can say about Donovan Mitchell and his unfortunate lack of playoff success, he's a great dude. He he is not a quitter. He's not gonna quit on his team. He's not gonna he's not gonna like hit the showers early. He's going to give you everything he's got. And while it may feel Dak Prescott hollow numbers s, I still feel like in that situation, especially, you don't have to respect it, but you should respect it because like a lot of people will really just stop trying if you're down 3-0, down 20 points in game four. They would just stop
In your
trying. They're like
house. In your house.
at home. Like there are so many people who would just lay down and die, and he didn't. So I feel like you have
Somebody
to.
else did, but he did not. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, that was a very ugly game to just like look and glance at. They look like it's the opposite of what New York was. Like if the New York Knicks were in that situation, their fan base in that whole arena would just be rocking and they wouldn't be allowing them to die. And
They
these
are.
players would be playing like it too. But like that city had given up. That game three already had shown them that this team was done. And I don't blame them. I can't say I don't know where Cleveland, just to focus on Cleveland right now, I don't know where they go from here because you can't run this back with this team as with this core as is unless you add LeBron James, unless he says I am okay to come. That okay, bro. That's legitimately a thing that might happen. I feel like I
It's on
know
the table. Yeah, I laugh because that would just be so crazy.
I know people are trying to media drive it, and I know that it might I feel like it could potentially lead to Donovan becoming unhappy if he doesn't really get the credit and it becomes a LeBron had to come and save y'all type thing. But I would not be, you have to do something. You have to go all in on trying to get him. And if you don't get him, you can't bring back James Harden and Evan Mobley and Turner. You have to, somebody's gonna have to move, even if it's Donovan too.
I'm looking at who's a free agent this year, and it's I don't know. And obviously, LeBron James, free agent. Okay, how old is this? Is this okay? Now let's reach it.
And that's if LeBron wants to go there and actually have to go through the challenge of winning that. He could stay in LA, which I
Mm-hmm.
I easily could see him just staying in LA. You've got Luca, who is a top five, top three-ish player.
Mm-hmm.
Stay there with him. You're already in LA. You've got the
Yeah.
business connections. Why not just stay
Why
there?
not ride it out? It really
Especially
depends if you think he can win the championship. Because like this year was a weird year in the East with Jason Tatum being out for most of that. The Celtics still being good, but never really dominant or great. So you're gonna have to see how Jason Tatum recovers from that Achilles injury, and then if Jalen Brown's still even on the team when he gets.
Pistons, if they proved anything, is that they've got somebody. Cade has that dog in him, and I think he's got it in him to like will his team. You just need to get him some more pieces. So it's a challenging road in the East. It's not like when LeBron was in his prime. And do
It's
you
not gonna be
really want to
LeBron
tell
anymore.
yourself and still have James Harden as somebody who is going to have to be a core piece? Because I'm sorry, at this point, he's proving to me it's something about he's got that KD effect. You're not going to win a championship with him as a major piece unless you
Mm,
have somebody that can really just is overwhelmingly that can neutralize that a la Steph Curry.
my problem with James Harden is in these moments, he doesn't shoot enough. Like he'll take 45 shots in a regular season game, but when it comes to deep in the playoffs, 2 for 8, 3 for 10, 4 for 7. I'm like James, if there's ever a time to just take that ball and let it rip, green light, this is the time. Like it throws me off.
He's afraid of those mistakes he's made in the past. That's all I can think of.
I don't think James Harden has that much of a basketball conscience. I think, like, and in a positive way. Like, I just think for some reason, I don't know what happens, to be honest, because I've seen it. I'm like, James, take that. James, go to the hole. James, draw a foul. Do what you've been doing do what you've been so great at for your entire career,
Your
just
entire
right
career.
now.
Right.
Just do it right now. Like, and you know what? I think that Warrior series where it was him and CP3 in Houston, I think that did something to him, and I don't know what. Because he was different after that series. We've gotten very off topic from the whole Cleveland thing, and I want to say, but he was just different after that series. But Cleveland, I'm gonna read to you a stat that really made me realize I wasn't tripping. On 3-point shots, on non-corner 3-point shots, I want you to guess how many the Cleveland Cavaliers took in this series.
Trying to think what's a number that's not crazy, like 50?
More.
88.
Close. They shot 96. They attempted 96 non-corner threes. Now, just based off of what you've seen of these games, how many do you think of those that they made?
It's gotta be like sub 30%.
They made 26 of
Yeah, it's not good. That's not good.
on non-corner threes.
It's not good.
And it made me wonder, like, what is happening? Why are they getting to such big holes so fast? And it's because they're missing long shots, leading to long rebounds, quick, fast breaks, and then that just avalanches.
Because you can't do that against this team. You
No,
can't.
you can't. They're too scrappy defensively. They rebound too well, and they have multiple people who know how to run a fast break prop.
So yeah, I don't really know if you have to make a prediction on what they're going to do outside of maybe LeBron coming and joining. How would you sort of fix whatever their problems are? Because I already know I don't want James Harden just on the team just because of the vibes. I'm sorry, the playoff vibes just don't do it for me. I've seen enough. This is literally his legacy at this point.
I say you see if you can make two different trades happen. Well, one person's a free agent, the other person will be a trade. See if you can get Rui Hachimura from the Lakers. Give him nice wing size, scoring ability, great 3-point shooter, or good for his position, and has been at great at times on 3-point shooting. And let's see if you can get Scotty Barnes from the Raptors. Trade James Harden, and honestly, let me check who all's on the Cavs roster. Honestly, Jared Allen might have to go because I think we're past the point where you can just have a big man that's just a paint protector, and your name is not Rudy Gobert. At this point, like no shade to Jared Allen, he's a fantastic dude, great human being, great basketball player. But with what this team needs, they're either guard heavy or they're big man heavy with no in between. And
I
so they have
feel
no
you.
one really stretch out the floor when those times get tight. Donovan might be having an off game. James may be having an off game. They need someone who's in between, who they can switch off and switch on defensively, gives them a little bit of size and some shooting ability. Those are my two. Scotty Barnes and Rui Hachimura are probably my two key people I'm looking at that you may have a chance of getting,
He
especially now
would
that Masai
Scotty
Ujiri's
Barnes
not
would
on
be
the Raptors.
scary for them. He would be. I feel like he would be able to help and he would be able to definitely like make them better. I would like him a lot better than James Harden, just to be perfectly honest. As a piece next to Donovan. Because I feel like he's somebody who on Toronto, that's just a team that they're not going to be able to get the high end talent that's really going to push them over the top. So he's on a sense could be end up being wasted there on that court.
Yeah, especially with Masai Ujiri leaving the Raptors. Like, I think Masai Ujiri was one of the main pieces that could really get people to come to Toronto.
Right.
And now that he's not there, I wonder what
I
their.
didn't know he wasn't there anymore.
I think he left like a year or so ago.
Okay.
Yeah, like I really don't know what their plan is. I don't know if they're in like rebuild mode, mini rebuild mode. I don't know.
They're in what I would call that same way you're like the Dallas Cowboy of the NFL. You're in that purgatory of just being in the middle.
hmm
Just like you're those consistent 8-8 seasons they were famous for a while of just being that 4th or 5th seed where, yeah, you're gonna make the playoffs. Y'all have a squad, but
You're gonna get washed when you get there, and you drafted at 23 every season.
so moving on to New York. Um, Congratulations to the
Oh
new
yes,
Knicks.
Go New York,
This
go!
is
Right?
this is absolutely insane. I'm For them to be able to get to this point, to now have a realistic, with the way everything is working out for them, shot at bringing home a title to New York for the first time since the 70s. Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns are already New York legends. New York Nick.
I would say Jalen. Yeah, Cat is almost there. Depends on what Cat does in this series. If Cat goes against Chet and goes crazy, yeah. Goes against Wimby, goes crazy, yeah. I think he's on the. He's outside the bubble looking in right now. Because New York. I mean, you have Bernard King, you have Willis Reed, you have Patrick Ewing, you have Jalen Brunson, right? You have all these like
He's
Knicks
not, and I don't
legends.
think that it's going to be really hard for him to ever usurp Ewing. He's not the alpha on the team. He's not the number one. So I don't
I
know if
mean,
he'll
if he
ever be.
averages 22, 12, and 8 in the finals to get them a championship, I think he might. With some key moments potentially, but
He'll take some key moments, but we already know that it is Jalen Brunson who is going to be remembered and who is leading this. He's the dynamo. He's the just exciting guy.
he's the engine that makes his team go.
That Villanueva connection that him and Josh Hart and those other guys have, it's somehow like there's the stories from that alone of them being able to go from college winning a championship to doing it on the NBA
In New York,
meteoric. It's never you almost it's movie shit.
30
So
the 30 for 30 about this team, regardless of what happens, is going to be wild.
wild. So I'm overly impressed. It's been really hard to like overly review because they've just been whooping teams ass.
It's really just been belt to ass. There really
It's
hasn't been
been
a lot of.
belt to ass.
It looks like both conference finals are playing different sports. It looks like they're playing different sports.
You'll get this misconception that the Knicks are just this dominant team when in reality it's just like the East, it's a mixture of because let's not take anything away from the Knicks. They are a really good team. They would still be very competitive in the West. They would still potentially be in this spot. Like they would be,
But they're a 6 seed in the West at best, I feel like.
but they're pushing the team to a 6 to 7 game series. I'll tell you that
Oh
probably.
yeah, like no matter which team comes out of the West, it's going 6 or 7.
But this is right now, they are just looking like just they're playing against JV teams and they're the varsity team in high school. So I completely agree with you. It looks like different sports. I don't know where they I don't know what they do to prepare for either one of these teams because it is still going to be such a massive like task ahead of them.
You're right. No, the two Western Conference teams can't look past the team that are playing right now. That would be a mistake, regardless of who it is, OKC or San Antonio. They can't.
I'm talking
Like,
about like the Knicks
oh,
even
Knicks.
like
Oh,
potentially having to deal
I
with
don't
either
even
one of them.
know.
That's going to be an uphill battle. Like
You tell you. Here's what you do. You sit down, Mikal Bridges, right here. Oh, you have a three. You sit down 3 chairs in that meeting room if you're Mike Brown. Cat, OG, Mikal Bridges. And I said, regardless of what series we go into, you three will be the reason, will be the X factors as to if and how and why we win either series, regardless. Because Cat and Mitchell Robinson are going to be guarding Wemby. OG and McKay will be switching off against SGA. And probably the De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Vassal group, or Chet, right? Either way, those 3 people on that unit are going to be the keys to how you game plan. Also, shout out to Mikal Bridges. Do you know he's shooting 71.1% from the field in this series? 50% from three.
Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I saw that. I was like, because Jalen Brunson is shooting 50.
They're not missing. They're just doing what they want out there. The chemistry is like the way people were talking about OKC in the beginning of the season about them just having such immaculate vibes that they were just bound to go damn near set the single season record. That's the way the Knicks are playing right now. They're giving me those vibes that they just cannot do anything wrong. And I know it's going to be a very different experience for them in the finals, but they're just playing in such a way right now that I'm it's hard to bet against them or think that they aren't going to just be prepared.
I mean, but either way, though, I'm excited because either way, we get Wemby and SGA in the Garden, Jalen Brunson in the Garden for the finals on Father's Day. Like, can you imagine? Like, everybody's dad is in the building. Jalen Brunson's dad, Rick Brunson's in the building, Patrick Ewing in the building.
I
Then you have
cannot wait for a finals game in the Garden.
it. I can't really like the. I can't really think of another sport comparison to compare that to for really because
The
it's just
Knicks the
ephemeral.
Knicks this season and this playoffs has reminded me that the Knicks are one of those teams. Yes, I know it's big city bias, but the same way that the NFL is better when the Bears are just good or the Giants are good or anything like that, the NBA is just better when the New York Knicks are at the very least respectable. Like when they had Melo and they were respectable, the NBA was fun.
Oh
When they had
man,
something to look forward to and the Knicks were in the mix and everything, that was a fun time to be a basketball fan. Now that the Knicks are back good again and Jalen Brunson is making them this exciting, that's the NBA. It's again, I'm having a real good time just keeping up with the NBA lately, keeping up with the NBA this season. It's been a big, and they're a big part of it.
yeah, it's been a weird year from the NBA. 'Cause like, the first 40 games were just kind of like, man. The last 60 games though have been ridiculous. And I don't know
It's
what to do with that.
it is that listen, people, especially nowadays, the simple truth of the matter is as much as they want to stuff more games and they want to make seasons, I guess, for the NFL longer, people don't like overly long seasons, especially when like for the most the same thing with baseball. I don't want to necessarily pay attention until the All-Star break. It's going to be hard for me to feel pressed to be worried about a record when I know you can get hot, you can do anything, and you can go on a stretch, especially in basketball. Like, yes, of course, if you are playing like shit and you're not even in the standings come All-Star break, I'm not like it's hard for just come out of that hole. But if you're the number one seed or you're the number two going into it, it's like, all right, I'm not necessarily worried about anything. I'm gonna check in and I'm gonna want to see a regular season game during that point or in that second half or in the playoffs. That is what I feel like happens. That's why it feels like even in the NBA, they're just trying shit out. They're testing things out in that first half. It's not
Yeah,
until you get until deep into the season where they really start to try hard and okay, we are trying for positioning. I need to get that number one seed. I want to be in the MVP race.
right. Yeah. I mean, that's why the NBA felt so strongly about the NFL scheduling games on Christmas. The NBA was like, Christmas is our day. That's our really true season kickoff for if we all being honest. Like,
Right.
and the
Right.
NFL was like, but what if we scheduled the Bears and the Packers on Christmas? What if we schedule the Chiefs and the Bills on Christmas? Like, well,
Let's
we
be
could
real.
do
We know
whatever we
I'm gonna be
want.
honest with you. I know what I'm gonna be watching. I know what I'm gonna be watching.
I mean, obviously, we don't have the matchups for Christmas for the NBA yet this year, but I'll be intrigued. It probably depends on how the season goes. Honestly, it's probably going to be Knicks, Pistons, OKC, San Antonio, and Lakers, Clippers, or Lakers, Warriors.
I would have that's gonna be a loaded ass a slate of games. That's gonna be a loaded ass slate of games. But
Especially, yeah.
I'm
Hmm.
going to
Hmm.
literally just be sitting there just trying to decide, are you gonna it's gonna like I was over here with one game on the laptop before I even set it up to like start the recording with you in one game on the TV screen. It's gonna be like that because that's just too
Yeah.
it's a lot. I don't
Mhm,
even wanna get into
mhm.
the streaming war conversation that we
Oh,
had with everything that's going on right
golly,
now.
that is a
With all of
mess.
that, them just, like, cross
Needing
competing against cross
yeah,
competing against each other and shit, but it's difficult to choose right now. So,
it man, this is one of those times where I feel bad or not feel bad, but, like, I really I wish more people could get into sports, and I understand people have their reasons, right? But, like,
can't make up the feeling when I'm, like, just watching this live and I see Wemby hit that 3 in game 1 from the logo.
I rose out of my
You
seat when
can't
I saw
make it
that.
up that feeling just the other day when he made that crazy ass 3 when I'm at work and I'm
A
just
28 footer, which I think won them that game in like the 30,000 foot view
I
of things.
texted you, bro. I texted you.
Yeah,
It was over. It was over from there. It
and then
was
he comes down, he felt it. I was like, "This feels something weird's about to happen." He goes down, racist, bang. Like,
that's
yeah,
he's that type of player. That's why it's like the game SGA it what was the he held the best player in the world crown for a little second. For a little
for like
hot
15
second.
months. It's unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, but like this man came into this series and he is feeling himself and he knows it now. He's make no mistake about it, he knows I'm that guy. Like they might win this series, but he's still that guy. Like we
And that's how you know it's crazy. The result of the series doesn't matter about that particular conclusion. It doesn't matter.
you can't do
We
anything.
know.
Y'all are having to bully and abuse him. Like I see the clip. I still am. I'm a little mad at Chet and Hardenstein for some of the ways. Like Hardenstein, I feel like it at least owns up. I feel like Chet be flopping a little bit too much for me to like respect the way he'll step on Wemby's foot and shit, and still
That one, I was like, "Bruh," like, you look down and then put your foot there. If you just if you're looking at the rim the whole time and you boxing out, I get it. It happens. Everything happens
actively looks
fast.
for his foot.
But you look down and then you look up and then you put your foot there. Brother, you know how many cameras are in this building? Do you know how many people are looking at you specifically right now?
They don't care, but it's playoff
Hey, he
basketball. It's like
he you know what? As someone who's extremely competitive, I get it. I don't condone it, but I get it. You try to do everything you can because, yeah, all this is whatever, but rings are forever. Like, as much as I dislike ring culture now, I blame Michael Jordan. Sorry, Michael Jordan. Don't take that personally, wherever you are. But like, rings are forever. Rings are a legacy
we're going
currency
10
now.
years from now, we're going to maybe we'll remember that we had this conversation because we have this episode of it. But we're gonna remember who won the title this playoff year. We're gonna remember, okay, that was either the Knicks or that was the Warriors or there was the Spurs. Not Warriors, or that was the Spurs or that was the Thunder. So it's no doubt about it. That's what matters in the end. All this ethical talk about he flops too much SGA or the rules are bended for him.
You
No,
won't give a damn. Not even in 10 years. In 3 years, we won't really give a damn.
because it's gonna move on to a new team that they're targeting with that
This
allegation.
moves
It's gonna
so
move on to a new
fast.
superstar who's got the rules bending for his favor and all this other nonsense. So it's like you said, it really don't matter.
It really don't. Like, what matters at the end of the day is what's the score. And that's also why we say you gotta watch the games and not just the box score, though. You gotta watch the game. Watch the box score does not do so
Yeah,
many
watch
people
the
justice.
highlights at least.
Something. But one last thing, the Spurs got lucky, and I'll tell you why. The two teams that have given them the most trouble, one they could see in the finals, but the other didn't make it past the first round of the playoffs, and that's the Warriors.
Mm,
Steph averaged 46 and 5. No, it's 40, I think, like, yeah, 46 and 5 on like 63% true shooting percentage against the Spurs in, I think, the 2 out of the 3 games that they played.
damn.
They got lucky because if it was Steph Curry going against them right now instead of Shea, the series might be over with those 20 turnovers.
Yeah. Steph is turning those into a lot of three pointers.
He's turning those into 4-pointers because especially now with, like, the spot foul with the landing space rules that they're now actually enforcing more so than they have in years past.
Yeah.
Spurs got a little lucky. I mean, but hey, luck is needed to win a championship. You look at every single champion throughout the history
We're gonna
of
remember the
time.
Raptors, and they only won that title because of luck, of injury,
That
of
that
injury,
bounce and
disfortunate luck on the other side. So I get what you're saying. It all comes down to who just got the luck on their side at the end of the day.
luck and health are the 2 things you need most in sports.
Fact,
Luck and
big facts. All right, now the last topic that we are going to be talking about is the most controversial, the one that's almost gonna have to address the elephant in the room. I'm sorry to put you in this spot, like I said before we started recording, but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jaxson Dart, Ole Miss alumni, NFL quarterback for the New York Giants. I drafted him a year ago. This man decided it was a good idea at a rally for our president, Mr. Orange Man himself, Mr. Donald J. Trump, to introduce him, and it I could go into Donald Trump proceeding to go into this whole monologue about how he was such an attractive man, about how he just got real sensual with the way he was talking about the boy. And
Very intimate,
we could talk
very intimate.
about Abdul Carter, his teammate, at that, deciding that it was a good idea to not only number one come out and just be like, "Hey, I thought this was AI, bro. What are we doing?" And then coming out and saying like, "Man, I talked to him and we're good. Y'all keep y'all narratives," as if he wasn't the one who started it. Or we can talk about just this reaction to it and how it's so different compared to when certain athletes who are on certain sides of the fence do it. But where do you want to start?
I think we should start in the fact that, like, this shouldn't have shocked anyone. Like, Jackson Dart is an
That's why I said the Ole Miss alumni.
Ole Miss alumnus, right?
Like, again, okay, the only person I might give the pass to as being an Ole Miss alumni is maybe Eli Manning. Maybe. And even then, I just feel like him and his family have probably done much better job of just not keeping it up like on Front Street. Because again, Ole Miss, I'm sorry, I have nothing against the state of Mississippi. I have family out there. I don't want to ever sound like I'm talking down on that. Shout out Philadelphia, Mississippi. But it's a certain demographic, it's a certain type of energy that you can find out there that is very stuck in their ways, that is very back in the day. So I'm sure there are people out there, not everybody out there is like that, but I'm sure that I know how it can be. And so I'm not going to say that I expected or that think that anybody that has ever gone to Ole Miss is like that, but that opens up that door if
That's like
you are feeling that comfortable about it. And again, this is what I was gonna mention when I was about to just record about this, but I just decided to keep it in here. This man was from Utah originally. So it's like you said, I don't know why this has shocked people so much. I don't understand where some of the outrages come from people outside of maybe the New York area of being shocked that because they just didn't know shit about their quarterback outside of he was just good for them that last year. But I'm a little where's the craziness?
I think this got blown out of proportion because of the political what's the word? Intensity that the country is experiencing for the past few
Culture.
years. Culture war, divisiveness, all of that. So I think that's why people are so up in arms. They're like, "Oh, how could he? What is he doing?" I'm like, "Pause here, folks. Let's take a step back." And also, I think the a problem that has been kind of pervasive in our society for like I would say maybe about 30 years. We don't see celebrities as people. We see them as like totems that are meant to hold our desires, our wishes, our dreams about who this person is, what they do, what they mean to us. Because certain people, certain celebrities will mean a lot of things to certain people. And we forget that they're human beings. And that human beings make choices, they have belief systems, they have political leanings sometimes, they have opinion, like they have all these things because they are human beings, right?
Right.
And we have a hard time separating what we want them to be at their job with who they want themselves to be outside of there. So I really don't feel one way to the other about Jackson Dart's political choices. He is an adult. He can make whatever choices he wants to make. I would not make those same choices, but he's not me. I'm not him. That's not really, and I think that's the other thing. That's not, he made something that's all his business, everybody's business, by doing what he did when he did it. I think if like Jackson Dart had like spoke at like a private dinner or a charity event or something or other, maybe this is very different.
To
But
be honest with you,
I say all again, I say all that to say like I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. More people in the NFL are Republican than you think, including the black ones.
I agree.
What?
No, no, no,
Like,
no, no. It's funny you say that because literally Marlon Humphrey comes out and just talking about, man, y'all fake as hell trying to talk about it like that. Y'all wouldn't like it. He literally talked about, man, majority of the country like Trump. I don't know where all this fake. So
yeah,
I am not surprised by that at all. I understand a lot of niggas either they are already like that or they get like 50 cent and they get their money and they just want to they don't give a fuck about everybody else. Fuck
Curtis.
you niggas, I got mine. So
Yeah.
I get it. I just really do feel like he would do better to just for the sake of knowing where you play, of knowing that you are in New York, you're in a very liberal city. I get it. It is like that's your right and your choice. I'm not telling you to not be to be an outspoken conservative. What I'm saying is maybe especially and this is the problem that I have with this man who is in office is that he's created this hot take culture of politics. It's bad enough we got it in sports with the Stephen A's, but we have it in politics now that this guy is so divisive. I'm not going to sit here and try to make it seem like I agreed or really understood everything that was going on when Bush was in office and everything like that. But I
True.
have this type of energy. It wasn't this type of lightning rod, like, oh man, if you are with this nigga, or again, let me not cuss. If you are with this guy, because like, I don't even want to prefer to talk about him.
Yeah. Mhm.
If you are with this guy, then you are completely like anti me. We are damn near like 3 steps away from a civil war, and it ain't 3 6 feet steps. So that's the frustrating part because I wish it didn't need have to be that way. But he's just that type of figure right now. So I think it would embolden him and be smarter to just sort of avoid that for yourself. Because the internet talk is one thing. The internet is gonna react no matter what you do when it comes to some shit like that and who you're seeing with. It's always gonna be a motherfucker with a think piece. It's always gonna be somebody that if it was not for the fact that he played in New York, I really wouldn't have thought twice to really talk about this. But that's a big thought. That's a big part of it.
Yeah. I I think the important thing about all of this, and I think that I respect, is that his teammate Abdul Carter was like went to him as an adult privately about how he felt about this. Because that's his coworker. We don't have to work with Jackson Dart. We don't have to contend with this on a regular basis. But his teammate was
That's why
like,
another reason why it don't matter to you or me. It don't like I don't have to. That doesn't matter to me. That's who you voting for. Like I already know, it's a lot of people that's probably on this side.
his black Muslim teammate was like, hey, let's talk about this privately. And they handled it privately. I
She
don't
wouldn't have
really
tweeted that beforehand.
yeah. He kinda jumped out the window on that first tweet a little bit. tiny bit. But also, like, that's also the thing. Like, if you've ever been in the locker room, a whole bunch of people have a whole bunch of different views about everything. Like, y'all will probably disagree about more stuff than you agree about more times than not, especially in a locker room of that size, from people all over the world, different tax
There's
brackets, even
somebody
like
going into the Philadelphia Eagles locker room this training camp, this upcoming season. I don't know if he'll be confirmed to roster spot. This man is from Uganda. Like, they have an international nigga that is coming onto their team. There is no, like, shortage of different perspectives and things to talk about that he can have with them. And it's like you saying, that is for every locker room. It might be just with the country, but you got guys coming from farm towns, coming from small ass towns from like 12 people,
different
all
colleges, even
like
like it's I and again, I think we project our views about our views onto celebrities that we feel connected to, and we expect them to behave and believe in the same way, and that's unfair to them as humans and setting ourselves up for disappointment on our end. Because like if so, like take the fact that Jackson Dart plays football out of it. If you just said a 6'3" white man who went to Ole Miss spoke at a Trump rally, you were like, okay, that's Tuesday. And next, like,
that's what you expect.
it doesn't like no one would care. It was like, yeah, people do they do that all the time. So I think another thing the internet has blown out of proportion when it affects when I think like even I feel like the majority of people who commented on it don't watch football. Now the people like
Which
Jamel
is another
Hill
thing that I
and
hated.
others who actually did talk about it maybe with some nuance. Shout out to those people, especially the people with journalistic integrity who talk about those things in that particular way. But a whole bunch of people who caught wind of it don't even watch football.
To like and compensate that to well not compensate, but basically to basically give a good example of that. A congressman from Georgia basically called him an elite quarterback and said that he's like it wasn't enough that he could call him just a true American patriot. He had to somehow like stand and just like try to get in there. Yeah, he's an elite quarterback. The man's had one season where he had one of the worst games I've ever seen against the Vikings. He did not look that great against the Bears. He was just complete. Like, he has moxie and he has that intangible effect. I'm not gonna lie, but elite is such a strong stretch, and
So
that's
he,
what I hate.
oh boy,
That culture war
words mean
shit,
things, people. Words mean things.
that culture war hot take sort of infestation where people who don't even know what they're talking about feel the need to just try to get a take off. Like, again, I'm not gonna I don't know all the things that I don't know all the knowledge there is to know about some of the music that I'll review, but I'm never gonna sit here and try to act like I think something is the worst thing ever. I'm always gonna try to preface it or give that context that I've heard. Because that's to me. These people will sit out here and will try to use hyperbolic statements and try to pass it off as fact. And it gets to a point.
I mean, the internet wasn't built for nuance, so I it's a
It's the best thing in the world and the worst thing.
yeah. Yeah. Elite, really? Like, what I need rookie quarterbacks coming after their first year to stop doing too much shit in the offseason. Looking at you, CJ Stroud, what happened? You were going on everybody's podcast, saying all these things, doing all these tier lists, where all these rankings. CJ is a great dude, but he gave his life to Christ. Love that for him.
Yes, yes. I support
Uh,
everything about CJ and the way he moves until it's like, I don't know what it is. It's almost like he starts to drink his own Kool-Aid a little bit too much. It's certain at points.
he gets too much dip on his chip.
At
He gets
two
too much
random
dip on his
points.
chip.
I never peeped it until the Caleb thing happened, but after that, I just sort of peeped because I never paid attention that he had done all the podcasts talking about his top 10 quarterbacks. I remember hearing that when it happened, but I didn't pay it too much mind. But it was one thing when he's saying that after a season where he threw for 4,000 yards as a rookie. He's out.
Hooping.
Didn't they win a playoff game? Just so I'm correct.
Yeah, so then they beat Joe Flacco on the Browns that year, if I remember
Still, that's
correctly.
winning a playoff game. That's going out there
Mhm.
done. So he had earned the right to have some confidence. But again, it wasn't as bad as Anthony Richardson coming out and saying that the NFL was easy, but it gets to a point where you gotta just humble your
I forgot he said that. Oh boy.
yeah, yeah. Like, I worry about Fernando Mendoza, who's trying so hard, who's doing so much in the positive, trying like to be humble and everything that it might backfire in his case.
I think the
I'm just better.
only
I feel I'm
I
a
think
big fan
yeah.
of being quiet. Not saying that you need to like not do any interview at all or anything like that, but I'm a big fan of, let me just
Intentionality.
right. I don't want to be in every media clip. I don't want to be always being clipped for a quote or quotable or anything. I don't know if he really said what he said about having a girlfriend and not having the time and he needs to focus on practice, but it's almost like, dude, chill out on the persona a little bit.
But I think that's just because he's a number one pick, probably like the first franchise quarterback the Raiders have had in decades. So like people are going to be all over his face, asking him all types of questions, left and right. I feel like that's one of those things like you can't really avoid that, especially with the season he just had at Indiana, which was spectacular, and just all the intangibles he's shown thus far. Like people are going to want to get sound bites from him is not something you can avoid.
You're
I think that's different than like CJ going on podcasts actively after the season when he could just be like, "No, I'm gonna just stay at home."
giving
Like,
his top
because like
five
all those
and
things are like media, like actual certified media personalities and networks and journalists coming up to Fernando about that. And the individual podcast thing with CJ and the Donald Trump thing with Jackson, like those are things you had to agree to, right? You had to you went through paperwork about compensation and all those other things and non-disclosures and what to talk about, what not to talk about before you did those things. And that's why I'm like,
what's going
similar feel, but
right.
you have to like agree to sit down with somebody's home radio this podcast. It's not somebody coming up to you on the practice field when it's God knows how hot outside. Like but it, but also that's why we love sports. The personalities, like the personalities, make narratives. Like it's just that's just how this goes.
I guess
We got to take the good with the bad.
I'm gonna have to just see Fernando prove it. He's giving me I don't know what it is. It's like a less authentic Tim Tebow, I feel like. And I hate to say
Really?
it because at some point it started to feel like, all right, he's making this all a persona. This like
Mm,
this guy. And it's maybe it was the Step Brothers commercial or the LinkedIn commercial, like the Step Brothers thing he did with Kirk Cousins for their
yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
but he's definitely leaning into it. He's trying to make that a part of his persona, and I don't know if it makes all of the other stuff feel a little less authentic. But, yeah.
hmm. I don't think he's inauthentic. I think it's just he has a very particular personality that I think is genuine that I think people try to emulate as a persona. And so it feels disingenuous because people try to achieve that. I feel similarly about like the whole Russell Wilson thing. Like I think that's Russell Wilson's genuine personality. I think it just seems so like too glossy, so to
Yeah.
speak, or
Too
too
polished,
like too
too polished.
machine on it. Right. But I genuinely think that those two people's actual personalities.
I definitely feel Russell Wilson and we're getting this is the random part episode, I guess, but
Here
Russell
we
Wilson
are.
has always been so overhated to me, and I've always thought that it was really telling that especially this is so unrelated to football. He got so much hate for the Sierra situation and everything like that. When in reality, all he did was just be a good man to Sierra and just conduct himself as such. And he got hate for that. He got called corny. And I think that that really showed a lot. That's why it depends on, it's another one of those like, do you dislike this man for the right reasons? You can dislike him
Right.
for being for being like a mediocre quarterback at this point, for the ego he showed with the way he was moving when it came to leaving Seattle and everything like that. But
And leaving Denver. But like you can't I feel like you can't hate on this man for how he just moved in his personal life.
yeah,
Like, I'm sorry. If you hating on Russell for being with Sierra, I bet 1,000 times out of 1,000, anybody who's hating on him with that, if Sierra was in front of you, you would fold like a crisp pair of clothes immediately. She wouldn't even, she wouldn't even have to say nothing. She would just look at you and you'd be like, Whatever you want, man, whatever you need, have it, take it. My house, yours, car, yours, bank account, like it wasn't like
She's
let's stop
pressure.
acting
She's pressure.
like let's not let's not do that. You're just like that. I almost got into a different tangent, but most I feel like most of the commentary about Sierra and about Russell are for people who are future fans.
I agree.
And
And they're the worst type of future fans because they haven't let it go even when he doesn't really I don't even really remember him. I don't think he's rapped about it at this shit in years.
he's future has never really cared. He's like, you treat my kids well, great.
Expect yes, like that's one thing that I will take note of. He's never really bought into or tried to let the internet fuel him into really getting upset about the whole baby future calling Russell his dad type thing. And I can that's some weird shit to me. I wouldn't I'm going to just say I would feel some way about that even as like I don't know, just this the
I
mom
mean,
like
it's not weird to me because like at a certain point, if this guy's around 5 times more regularly than you're around, then like I feel like the kid is gonna call the the dog that he feels is his father. Like I don't really like it's not like we say it's like mom and dad is like titles given to people who birth you, but like they can very quickly be somebody else if that person's more consistent, more caring, more loving, more nurturing, and more in your life than the other person. Like it's just one of those. I think Future's accepted that Future may be a great dad. I don't know, but it doesn't always seem like he's the fatherly type. From what I know about Future, which is very little, very little. I will admit, I do not know that much about Future, but seems like he's not the very fatherly type, and that's not the role he wants to pursue, and that is his choice.
you're right. You're right. But that has been Kinetic Aesthetic. That has been our whole little spiel. Just as a note, just I guess if you ain't gonna be a good dad, at least be like Future and stay out the way. Let a real one come through who's going to do the fatherly duties. But
I agree. Future is like, you got that big dog. You go
right,
ahead.
right.
I'm gonna be over here in Magic City eating his wings.
Okay. Okay. But we've talked the NBA, we've talked Jaxson Dart. It has been fun. This has been Sports Talk. This has been the first edition with my man Cam, who I hope to have on for many episodes to come as we get into the baseball season after the NBA is done. And the NFL season is not too long after that. We're going to be filling the NFL offseason content. So you already know we're going to have a lot to talk about then. But Cam, do you have any closing things you want to say to the people on this first episode?
Hey, y'all. Love y'all. You love the people that you love in your life. Stay hydrated and stay out of trouble. Ain't nothing in these streets for y'all. Ain't nothing in these streets for y'all.
But yeah, stay out the streets. Just stay out the streets. Continue to be good people. This has been another edition of Sports Talk. This has been your boy Jerm, joined with my man Cam. We are signing out, and we will be back to y'all next Tuesday. Got those words jumbled at the end, damn it. But all right.